Hello my dear boys and girls, welcome to your science class. Last class we learned about adaptation and also we learned about the type of habitat. We learned there are two type of habitats. So dear children, can you recollect which are the two type of habitat? Yes, the two type of habitats are, yes, very good, terrestrial habitat and aquatic habitat, very good. And also we learned that terrestrial habitats are four types. So which are the four types of terrestrial habitats seen around? Yes, the first type is desert, the second type is mountains, very good. Now the third type is, yes, polar region, and the fourth type is, yes, the fourth type is forest and grassland, isn't it? So this much we learned in last class. In today's class, what we are going to learn is about the aquatic habitat. Aquatic habitat. So terrestrial habitats we finished by last class. Today we are going to learn about the aquatic habitat. Aquatic means, aqua means water, isn't it? And when we discussed about different type of habitat, we discussed that aquatic habitat, organisms like sharks and plants like lotus, fishes, etc. are called, the plants that are in water is called aquatic organisms, isn't it? So the organisms that lives in the water is called aquatic organisms, and the habitat of those organisms is what we call aquatic habitat. So we have already discussed about the aquatic habitat in our previous classes. So today we are going to learn the type of aquatic habitats. There are two type of aquatic habitat. The first one is ocean or marine habitat. That is ocean or marine habitat. Now the second type of aquatic habitat is ponds and lakes. These are also called freshwater habitats. So the aquatic habitats are divided into two, that is ocean or marine habitat and ponds and lakes or freshwater habitats. So let's see what are this type and which all organisms living in this habitat, what are the adaptations shown by those organisms. So the first one is marine habitat, marine or ocean habitat. Now, have you heard about oceans? In your geography class and all, you may have heard about the oceans. That is, they are the huge salt water bodies, isn't it? Oceans are the huge salt water bodies. So that are oceans. They are also called marine. So what are the animals seen in these oceans? Yes, mostly fishes are seen in oceans, isn't it? Now we will learn the adaptation shown by the organisms in the ocean. So in the ocean, mostly fishes are seen, isn't it? And in last chapter, we have learned what are the adaptations of the fishes. So when we learned about the locomotion in fishes, we have discussed about the adaptations in the fishes in order for the locomotion. So children, do you remember those adaptations? Yes, the first adaptation is, yes, the fishes will be having a stream body, isn't it? So we have discussed it that fishes are having stream body in order to move in the water, isn't it? So that is the first adaptation, that is they will have the stream body and their body will be covered with scales, isn't it? Their body will be covered with waterproof scales. Their body will be covered with waterproof scales. So that is the second adaptation. Now the fishes in the ocean, the third adaptation is they will have gills, and these gills help them to breathe. So these three are the characters of the fishes in the ocean. That is, the first one is they will be having the streamlined body, very good. Now the second thing is they will have, their body will be covered with waterproof scales, very good. Now the third adaptation is they will have, yes, gills, and these gills help them to breathe. So these are the characters of the fishes seen in the ocean. There are certain organisms like in oceans we can see the dolphins, sharks, etc. Isn't it? These organisms will not have any gills. Instead of gills, they are having lungs, and these lungs help them to breathe. There are also few organisms other than fishes like whales and dolphins. These organisms are having lungs and they have nostrils on their forehead, and with the help of these lungs they are breathing. So you may have seen in pictures like dolphins and whales jumping or popping themselves in the ocean. So that is in order to attain the air. So they breathe through the lungs. This is because they cannot stay in water for long time because they need to inhale. For that they need to jump to the surface. So that's all about the ocean or the marine ecosystem. Now we will learn about the second type of aquatic ecosystem, that is ponds and lakes or freshwater ecosystem. Now when we hear the word freshwater, we understand that water doesn't have any salinity. That means it is not salt water in nature. So the water in the ponds and the lakes are not salty water. The salty waters are seen in oceans, isn't it? So the ponds and lakes have fresh water. Now, which all are the organisms seen in the fresh water? They have floating and submerged plants. So, the example for floating plants are, we have discussed in last class, that is lotus, are freely floating in nature. Now, water hyacinth are example. Lotus, water hyacinth, etc. are example for floating plants. Will be the feature of the lotus and this water hyacinth. They will be floating in nature. They have a slender like flexible stem and they will have the roots. Their roots will be comparatively lower in size. The function of the roots is to place the plant into one place. Is to keep the plants in one place. The function of the roots is to keep the plants at one place. So that those are the floating plants, that is so that's about the floating plants. Now the second type of plants seen in the ponds are submerged plants. These plants resemble Hydra, Vansleria, etc. So the specialty of these plants are they are rooted on ground and also they have a very flexible leaves. They can move well with the currents, water currents. Hence they are having a ribbon-like flexible leaves and upper body part. So this is what the specialty of submerged rooted plants are. So dear children, we learned about the aquatic habitat. There are two types of aquatic habitat. The first type is ocean or marine type of aquatic habitat, and the second type is pond, lake or freshwater type aquatic habitat. Hereby we have completed the types of habitat. Now we will learn about an organism which is terrestrial and aquatic in nature. Children, can you name an organism which can live in both terrestrial and aquatic habitat? Can you name? Yes, very good. Frog is an example, isn't it? Frog. Frog is both terrestrial and aquatic organism. So, now we are going to learn about the features or the adaptations seen in the frogs. So as teacher told, frog can live in ponds, that is aquatic habitat, as well as they can live in land, terrestrial habitat. So that is their specialty. So they have the adaptation to live both aquatic and terrestrial habitat. Now what are the adaptations shown by the frog? So if you have seen the frogs, you may have watched their feet or the limbs. They are having a webbed feet. They are having a webbed feet which help them to swim as well as to jump. So that is a specialty. That is the first adaptation. They are having a webbed feet. The second adaptation is their back leg is more stronger. So because of that they can jump as well as catch the prey. So these two are the adaptations shown by the frogs. The specialty of this organism. Now, the specialty of this organism, frog, is that they can live both on terrestrial and aquatic habitat. Now, we are moving to the last part of this chapter. We are going to learn a term, and that is acclimatization. 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 What is this acclimatization? You may not have heard this word before. The acclimatization is changes that happens in an organism to adapt its surroundings. So teacher will give you an example. Suppose we all are going to a picnic. We are going to Ooty. Okay. So we know that now it's so winter. We are going in the winter climates. We know that mostly Ooty region will be more cool, isn't it? And the plants there will be having the adaptation in order to withstand this cool region, that coldness, isn't it? So we all are going for a picnic, and we saw the beautiful Ooty garden there. And suppose we are buying a plant from there, and after the picnic we return our home, and what we will do? We will plant this plant in our home, isn't it? So what happens after a few days? Yes, the plant will, so initially the plant will not be so active. Later, after some days, the plant will grow and they also bloom, isn't it? That is because that plant is showing some property to adapt its surroundings. So that property of the plants and other organisms, plants and other organism to adapt its surroundings is what we call acclimatization. Property of organism, the property of an organism to change their body type according to the surroundings is what we call the acclimatization. So now when someone say about acclimatization, just remember this: changes that take place in the body of an organism to adjust with its surrounding is what we call the acclimatization. So dear children, by this we are concluding this chapter. Let's revise what we have learned in today's class using the Digi video.
Aquatic habitat. Aqua means water. The organisms that live in lakes, ponds, rivers and oceans are called aquatic organisms, and their habitats are called aquatic habitats. For example, sharks, fishes and lotus plants. Oceans. The ocean is a huge body of salt water. In the previous chapter, we took a look at how fish are adapted to live in water bodies. Fishes show the following adaptations. Body is streamlined, which allows fast locomotion in water while swimming. The skin is covered with waterproof scales, which protect it from decaying in water. Fishes have gills that can extract oxygen dissolved in water. Swimming is done with the help of fins. There are some sea animals, such as dolphins and whales, that do not have gills. They breathe in air through the nostrils that are located in the upper part of their heads. This allows them to breathe in the air when they swim near the surface of water. They can stay inside the water for a long time without breathing. They come out to the surface from time to time to breathe in air. Ponds and lakes. A pond or lake is a small freshwater body compared to the sea or the ocean. A large variety of aquatic plants grow in ponds, lakes and rivers. Two common types of aquatic plants are free-floating plants. These plants float freely on water. For example, the water hyacinth plant, the lotus plant, the water lily plant and the giant water lily. Submerged plants. These plants remain completely submerged in water. For example, Hydrilla and Vallisneria. Adaptations in aquatic plants. Due to the availability of water, the roots of aquatic plants are either absent or poorly developed. In free-floating plants, such as lotus and water lily, floating leaves are large and flat. A waxy coating is found on these leaves, which makes them waterproof and protects them from the decaying effects of water. In free-floating plants, the stems have large tunnels and holes for air that helps the plant to float. In submerged plants, such as Hydrilla and Vallisneria, the leaves are thin and ribbon-like. This allows water currents to pass through without damaging the leaves. Adaptations in frog. Frogs usually have ponds as their habitat. They can both stay inside the pond water and move on land. They have the following adaptations. They have webbed feet, which help them swim in water. They have strong back legs that help them in hopping on land for catching their prey. Their skin is always moist, which helps in breathing through the skin.
So dear children, by this we are concluding this chapter. Next class onwards we will discuss the textual activities of this chapter. See you in next class. Thank you.